What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Redemption with Jaden. I hope you guys are excited for the release of GOC coming out pretty soon here. Like, based on what we've heard, we'll probably start seeing it at some point in January, which is less than a month away from the release of this video. So we could theoretically see GOC Phase 1 in about a month. At most, like 2 months. Like, that's awesome. We've come a long way. There's been spoilers coming out for a long time, and I think there's a whole lot of hype around the set, and rightly so. I've had the privilege of playtesting, the cards and seeing what's going to be coming out, and I'm really excited for getting to play with the cards, seeing what other people come up with, and playing the cards, and just seeing all the new things that we get in this kind of long-awaited New Testament set that I think will really bring some diversity to the meta. We'll see a lot of variety between having some New Testament decks out there, and also decks like this one that are very Old Testament and very kind of what I think the meta sort of is right now, or like I think that this is definitely one of the higher level decks or strategies out there right now. So let's go ahead and dive into it, see what we got going here. Just a note that kind of before GOC comes out, I do want to get a few Type 2 decks out there that I didn't like squeeze into the video rotation before rotation hit. Just because I was kind of taking some time off after nationals, and then I was like just kind of had these ideas and wanted to get them out there. And before we start churning out GOC videos and box openings and all that jazz, I wanted to get those out there. They're going to be classic games mostly. Might get a rotation game in there at some point, just to kind of look at what the Type 2 meta looks like before GOC comes out. And then we'll, obviously take a little bit of time to look at Type 2 in GOC. But yeah, if you guys didn't check out the Threshing Floor podcast this week, it was me and Tyler talking with John about Type 2, why you should play it, why you should be interested in it, what makes it fun, and I think talking about some of the hurdles, I guess, that are obstacles that are kind of in the way for some people who are a little bit on the fence. So hopefully we do a good job of addressing those and convincing a few more people to at least try it out. So go ahead and check that out, and if that doesn't do it, then maybe the Type 2 videos that I release in the coming weeks will help you out, because you'll see some of the cool and crazy things that you can do in Type 2. So anyways, back to the deck here. This was actually a deck that was sent to me by Jeremy Chambers. He was he hasn't had a lot of time to like test it out or anything. He said he actually hasn't played a game with it yet, but he just kind of had the idea of like, let's look at the all the balanced decks that are kind of creeping their way into the meta after rotation, and let's just try to be more aggressive and try to have a few more options to deal with like more evil characters at the same time. So that's why I've got Hailstones highlighted here at the beginning. Is just kind of one of the things that you're just really attacking your opponent's defensive resources, and then trying to speed through kind of like a classic speed deck like you would see back in the day, where you're just drawing a whole bunch of cards and playing Authority of Christ to wipe out your opponent's defense. So kind of the same strategy here, where we're going to be attacking their territory with cards like Hailstones and David's Descendant, and then their hand with cards like Impartial Judgment, and then just kind of having a whole bunch of heroes that will draw, like Captain of the Host, Mighty Men, Zerubbabel, David potentially even, and then a whole bunch of searching stuff like Zerubbabel's Plumbline, Solomon's Dream, some drawing with Feast of Booths, Pentecost, a little more searching with Faith and Faith of Joshua. Faith of Joshua doesn't have, it's only got Joshua and Captain in the deck, but it's really the only way. I guess Solomon's Dream and Plumbline both do it, but it's a way to, I guess, get Captain of the Host out. And getting him out once you have Joshua, or really, I mean, you want to, if you have Captain of the Host, you want to have Joshua. So you want to have kind of ways to make sure you get both of them. And then if you do have Joshua, then getting Captain of the Host gives you a negate, uh, for a card in player set aside, which negating Sheol and set aside could be, really huge difference. I guess Joshua can also just underdeck it, but maybe there are a few things. And having that basically free draw two is pretty good. Also having an angel in battle can help against cards like Balaam's Disobedience. So that's what the offense is pretty much trying to do. They're just kind of some of the best Meek heroes, ones that convert to Meek, and ones that band, Mary that protects, Akeem that negates neutrals. Hopefully I don't really have to explain that one at this point, but he's really good. So is Enosh and Obed. Jeremy initially sent me the list, slightly different than this. Like I said, he hadn't tested it yet. He said that if he was gonna take it to a tournament, he'd probably make a few adjustments. He'd probably cut it down to 50 cards instead of 51 where it's at right now, and make a few other adjustments, like maybe adding another evil character. As you can see, we've got only 4 here. Well, 5, I guess. Gotta include Firefoxes. That's pretty much always an evil character. And seems like it could be a little bit slim. And it might be if you're trying to make sure that you can even like block on the first turn, have kind of a reliable I guess consistency on the blocks. But really, once you get the offense going and fast, I guess get all that like set up, then you'll probably draw into some defense. And it's similar to my classic post-exilic deck, where the idea is just you're going all out on offense and then having just the 1 or 2 blocks to beat your opponent on with your defense there, or kind of beat your opponent in the race, I guess. And this deck, it's similar in that you're kind of doing that race, but I think the offense also has a little bit more potential to kind of not have the same like unblockability, I guess, of the post-exilic deck. Whereas like I was just going with Impartial Judgment, get that one really huge swing play that will basically get me freebies for the next few turns if I can time it right, and play a few other cards to kind of attack their hand afterwards. Whereas this one is running more battle winners like Royal Parade and David's Ascendant, Council of Abigail, just kind of a few more things to either get some battles or some lost souls early on, and to maybe kind of to use that Impartial Judgment to somewhat of a lesser degree, or maybe use Hailstones or David's Ascendant later on to kind of seal the deal, I guess. So taking a look at the Lost Souls here, it's usually a good place to start, but I kind of just went with an overview. We're doing an OT Lost Soul Unity here, which is pretty good with Blind, I think. Like, a lot of people are using Lawless and Remnant and Wake, and I think that's also a very reasonable way to go. Doll, another notable one. But I think the OT Lost Soul Unity is a good way to combat that. Maybe in GOC we'll see a similar Lost Soul that for NT strategies. We could see a little bit of like variety in like either it's Unity NT, Unity OT, or it's a mix of both, where you're using kind of the best of both worlds. I think all of those will be viable. There will certainly already been hinted at that New Testament Lost Soul Unity is going to be certainly up for consideration, and with the changes to reserve access and Remnant and Exiles not being kind of in the like auto includes, I guess, then that maybe NT Lost Souls will be even better, because they were kind of designed with rotation in mind, or with the reserve rule in mind, I guess. Not to say that all of them are like don't interact with the reserve at all necessarily. I honestly haven't looked in a while and couldn't tell you for sure, but they might have kind of some more kind of thought put into it by the card creators, um, as far as like, are people going to play this if the reserve access rule is in place? Looking at the dominance here, you might notice a pretty definite exclusion, I guess. When I was looking at it, I told Jeremy, I was like, man, I have a really hard time not putting Chronicles of the Kings in like every deck I play these days. But I'm willing to try it out, and I can certainly see the argument for having both Christian Martyr and Falling Away in here, with kind of such a slim defense. And maybe Chronicles of the Kings isn't absolutely necessary. And after the game that I played with it, I never. I mean, it was admittedly a little bit of a strange game. It was a really good game. We'll get to that. Um, but I didn't really find myself missing it. And I thought that maybe having both Christian Martyr and Falling Away, it could be good. Um, Not that those are the only ones that could be cut for Chronicles, but looking at the rest of them, I mean, they're pretty much the only ones that can be cut for Chronicles in this deck anyway. Ride On Victoriously is just too good, I think, in this deck, because you want to be able to play Impartial Judgment, Hailstones, or David's Ascendant pre-block. Um, Hailstones is a little bit tricky. You have to play like a Joshua or Jordan Interrupted or something on a Meek hero, and then play Hailstones on either Joshua or Captain. Probably Captain, because Joshua is probably not going to be in battle. Um, I could maybe see an argument for taking out Angel of the Lord for Chronicles. So, food for thought if you want to try out the deck. But yeah, it did kind of, after playing the game, I mean, obviously it's only one game, so it's nothing definitive, but did kind of make me think, maybe Chronicles isn't necessarily an auto include. Um, it's one fewer answer to cards like Golden Calf and Confusion of Mind. Really, Three Wolves doesn't even answer Confusion of Mind, so that could hurt a bit. But Joshua is in here too, so that does help. And I think that makes Chronicles slightly less imperative, I guess, or like auto include I guess. Um, so Joshua is very good. Um, no Book of the Covenant, which I think is another card that took a big hit from the reserve access rule, because first turn it's just kind of a dead card, which isn't great. And the way that Jeremy built the deck, it's really based on like good enhancements in the reserve and kind of accessing those instead. So it's like Book of the Law lets you top deck some stuff. As long as you have Jeshua, that's pretty good. Zerubbabel's Temple lets you top deck stuff. Initially, Jeremy had Storehouse in here. I ended up cutting that for, I think, Hopper, just because there needed to be a little bit more soul gen, I think. I kind of brought that up when I was talking to him, and that's really not something that most people think of until they're actually playing a game, and they're like, oh, shoot, like, I really need soul gen. He did have, or does have Josiah in here, and then I also recommended that we put in Matan as well, which you'll notice was a good choice. At least in the game that I played. There's also Zerubbabel's Temple that can generate Lost Souls, and Covet was in there as well. But Zerubbabel's Temple isn't super reliable, because you have to not play Feast of Boots in order to do it, which a lot of times you're going to want to play Feast of Boots. Maybe you can put it in reserve and then grab it with Zerubbabel's Temple and then play it, but yeah, it's not necessarily reliable, because I mean you also have to wait a turn, because it has to be in your upkeep. So yeah, we put in a few more options for that, and already talked about the offense for the most part. I guess Goshen is maybe the last card that I'll mention here. It's a card that I've kind of been iffy about, because like even just looking at this deck, like there's a lot of room for it coming back to bite you if you put it down, and then you want to play like a big Impartial Judgment later. You're not going to be able to do that if you have a Meek hero that you're playing it on, unless it happens to be Noah, which I guess is um, okay, but usually you want to do like a Manning Chain with like Zerubbabel and get some more value on it. So it's a card that I kind of have a little bit of a distrust for, I guess. Like, I think it can be really good, and I think it is really good in certain circumstances. And I think it's probably worth it in this build just because there's a lot of banding, and there's a lot of people playing scattered and scattered cheap out there. As you can see, we're running them as well, so I mean, it could theoretically come back to bite us on, bite the user, I don't know, whoever's using this deck, me in this case, come back to bite me if they have Meek Heroes, which are pretty popular with cards like David, Hard After God, and Zerubbabel and Noah. So it's just kind of a timing thing. You gotta be cognizant of that. Be really aware of your cards. There's not really any way to reliably like get rid of it yourself, except for Noah. You can shuffle it back into your deck, but otherwise you kind of just have to deal with it. Maybe you just play 3 woes on your own Goshen at the right time. That can be pretty cool. And also at the right time, you can toss a Faith of Joshua on your opponent's foreign wives, or also a Hailstones on your opponent's foreign wives. So there's definitely an argument for it. I will certainly give that. Tossing Root of Jesse isn't bad either. It's one of those cards to be careful of if you try out the deck. Just kind of get a feel for it, and when to put it down and when to not. And the rest of it, we're taking this game out against taking this deck out against Chad Frantz. And I had no idea what Chad was going to play. I mean, Chad always brings something cool and fast and strong to the table. So I was excited to see how this deck would do against him, and I was a little bit surprised by what he brought. So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. I'll say that, but I was a little like, oh, all right, makes sense. And so yeah, hope you guys are excited for the game and enjoy. Alright, here we go. Well. Got star ability on Zerubbabel right away, that's pretty nice. Can't do Mary's star ability because no reserve access. Could do Scattered Sheep. I don't necessarily mind giving up Mary here. And I don't really mind showing them what we got. They look great on top. Convenient. Problem is that the darkness, I'm not going to like that. He's going to know exactly what evil character to go for, but hopefully we can, make his decisions harder. Maybe he'll take one from, take one, or just play one from his deck, because then he won't have to block from hand with, wow. Is he playing the same deck? Alright, interesting. Just gotta try a Fluncher in here. I feel like that should maybe be in my deck here. Wow. I guess we just go with Joshua, or maybe Akeem. Probably Joshua, yeah, because then he doesn't get Triumphal Entry. Well, I'm glad I don't have any lost souls. That's for sure. See what his stars are. I think there's just 1, 2, top deck, something from deck with Jotham, right? Maybe. See if he goes for that or not. But yeah, I mean, I think if he top decks something, yeah, he's just about to use darkness to search anyway, so. So, I don't think he had any evil enhancements, which is good. So he just had a false leaders, which is actually kind of inconvenient now. He can't play or like put false leaders in play with darkness. But I guess first turn false leaders doesn't really matter anyway because you can't access your reserve. If you were, happen to maybe draw like your prosperity or something and discard a evil enhancement, that could work. But ooh, get some Malachite Slave. That's pretty good. So he's gonna be able to generate a lost soul. So I guess, I mean, I don't think that necessarily, I mean, it shouldn't stop us from attacking. And we just put Book of the Law here. We'll get to search when he blocks from hand. And I think we just go, I think we hold on to Root of Jesse and just play it in battle. Unfortunately, we can't access reserve with Zerubbabel's Temple or with Book of the Law. We'll convert him to Meek, draw 2, so Prosperity, that's not bad. What do I discard to that, though, is the question here. All of these are really good. Kind of feel like the answer is Feast of Boots right now, because I'm going to need Scattered Sheep for his attack, assuming he bans. He does know that I have Scattered Sheep, so maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just hope I didn't draw an evil character. I think we get rid of Feast of Boots here, as much as I hate to do that, just because we still need a battle winner with Zerubbabel. Well, he'll block from hand and we can do something. I think we just discard Rid of Jesse. Hey, look, there's a Council of Abigail. Now let's go ahead and play Akeem from deck here. It's unfortunate that we have to play Akeem with Zerubbabel, because now if we set him aside with Pentecost, then his ability won't be active. So I almost wonder if it's not worth it to use a Pentecost. So, we got Feast of Booths, doesn't do anything now. Do we use Pentecost or not? That's the question. He didn't have any artifacts in his hand, I don't believe. I don't think he had any ways to get one, like delivered or anything. Yep, here comes the slave. So we will get to search with Book of the Law. What do we search for? Do you have anything that can bounce Akeem now? Don't know that we do. Depending on who he goes for, we might just get Angel of the Lord, just to kind of guarantee the rescue. I don't know, Council is good, but not, not always going to do it. Since we went first, he shouldn't go for Foreign Wives here, because even though I did draw 2 off Zerubbabel, I didn't draw 3 for turn, which looks like he does make that. I'm just going to double check here. Let's see. I only drew 2 off Zerubbabel and 2 from Prosperity, so that's 4. That's the trick. But I mean, since we're just doing it for for fun here. I mean, I'd let him do it, but he's just gonna take it. Because he did block from hand still, I do get a Book of the Law trigger, so I'm going to do that. I think I just go... I mean, I get to take any good card, so there's not really any point in taking Zerval's Plumbline. That would just give me any other good card. Not really sure what I do take here, though, because... it's a lot of good cards. I think maybe just David. Or maybe Firefoxes would have been good. Because that would have got me another blocking option here, but that's alright. Yeah, I don't think there was really anything I could do to bounce my Akeem somehow. But I think I do still play the Pentecost here and kind of hope for the best. And then we pass. I mean, he had a lot of banding heroes in his hand, but if he doesn't have anything to get around Scattered Sheep, then he probably doesn't band anyway. But I mean, he can't use Jotham to grab anything from his reserve yet. He didn't draw any Lost Souls, which isn't great, but it's not like... he also didn't draw any Lost Souls that he gets to use the abilities of that, you know, can make us regret not keeping Akeem in territory. He puts down Josiah as Meek, puts down Jotham as Meek. So, not really liking where this is going. He puts down Jehoshaphat as Meek. If he's got Impartial Judgment and Awesome Things this early, I'm going to be a little sad. But, I mean, honestly, getting it out of the way isn't that bad right now. Oh, he just popped right back. I'm kind of tempted to even just negate his Jeshua right now. I think I'm going to do it. That way David stays on top, doesn't get to search. He's also got Mayhem in his hand, so he's probably just trying to get down to size here. Maybe should have put down David knowing that he had Mayhem. Oh well. I ruined his really nice play. Oops. Sorry, bro. Sorry, not sorry, I guess. Yeah. Yep. And there comes the Akeem, and here comes the Mayhem. Yep, I definitely should have put down David. That was a misplay there. But that's alright. We got a Balaam's Prophecy for next turn, or for my turn, provided I draw an evil character that I can play it on. That means he gets to walk in for a free one now, because my evil character got shuffled away. Maybe even there was an argument to put him down too, but he didn't know that I had Lying Prophet in my hand. So he might have just walked into a Scattered Sheep. But alright, that it's a little hashtag mayhem action going on for him right now. If he's already got impartial judgment, that it's gonna be a little rough because we drew 3 evil cards in my deck of not very many evil cards. Yep, so he gets to search for impartial judgment, ban to a meek hero, and play it. Alright, alright. I see you, Chad. I didn't even draw a lost soul for me. Wow, rude. Just gonna discard him now. I guess my discard pile isn't revealed for whatever reason. So yeah, we discard those 3. I think we give him the slave. I'm not sure if I have to reveal my hand if there's not enough. Just to like prove. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, we really needed David because he would be able to ban 2 Matan in reserve to play a Lost Soul. Alright, well, hopefully this Pentecost will help us recover, and we did not get bit for setting aside Akeem, so there we go. We do get a little bit bit by setting aside Joshua because Mary top decking, or both Noah and Mary top decking stuff. We don't get to draw it. We get to draw one of them off of Pentecost, or we could draw both of them off of Pentecost. But he does get to he does get to use false leaders though, but I think I do need to get my Matan in order to play a Lost Soul from his deck, so we're going to top deck Matan. Upkeep, will not reserve. I'm just kind of giving him a little bit of time in case he wants to trigger his false leaders. He would get to play from his reserve. Let's just, yeah, only search abilities. Alright, Woes is evil. I think we put it on Akeem. We want our Endless Treasures to work here so we can take Akeem. Should probably edit the note here. I'm just gonna say evil. Well, we'll see what we draw here, I suppose. Hey, look, Matan. Wonderful. We would like to bounce Zerubbabel. How do we do this without false leaders just going ham, though? I guess we just put our own false leaders down so that if he searches, we get to search too. Of course, he only has 2 cards in hand, so he'll get to keep going from discard pile, but that's alright. We don't have that many cards in hand here. We can play some stuff down. Grab Goshen. Do I want to put down Goshen yet? I think I do, just to stop any scattering shenanigans. What do I want to take with Flying Scroll is the question. Could take his false leaders and then we get both and just take his evil characters out. That might be decent. Could also take his David. I could literally take any one of his heroes right now. Any one of his characters with Flying Scroll. They're all either territory class or multi-brigade. And I take them so they go to my hand, which means I can play them as not meek if I want to. So we could do Jehoshaphat. So he doesn't have a bounce option there. I don't really care about his false leaders, so yeah, I think we just do Jehoshaphat. This is banished. Draw 2. Draw Darkness. It's a little unfortunate. Told him that I felt like Wesley in The Princess Bride when he says, I'm also not left-handed. Okay, so Jotham's not going in. We're going Jehoshaphat. We're going Joshua, Underdeck False Leaders, Jehoshaphat, Joshua, Matan. Yep. So we'll underdeck the false leaders, exchange with Jehoshaphat, bounce his Joshua, just because if he has like a star ability to top deck something, then he doesn't get to use that. Bantu Zerubbabel, convert him to meek, draw 2, Bantu Matan. Your deck. Get others all. Alright, what are we dealing with on defense here? Balaam's Disobedience. Okay, false pieces in the deck, not in the reserve. He's got a Profane Daughters. So I think we're either going to do Lawless. Actually, so his neutral cards are negated right now. So we want to get one out now that we can get off the table. So I think we want to get Distressed out. And just kind of banking on the fact that we'll be rescuing a Lost Soul this turn. And then I can use Rule's Temple. I think at this point, I mean, I've only got one Meek hero out, so Impartial Judgment isn't great. So I think at this point I can just take Royal Parade. It's probably safe. So we'll top deck that and draw it. And we'll call it good there. I'm not really sure if Book of the Law triggers off of converting to Meek. I forgot about that, or forget about that, or just haven't figured that out yet. We'll get there someday. I'll put down Jotham as not Meek. We can convert him to Meek when we take Impartial Judgment from reserve, and that puts us at 8. So I think we'll call it there. So let's see what he comes up with this turn. So now he's just got a bunch of Meek heroes and a negated Akeem. He's got a Jeshua, which, you know, admittedly pretty good. Goshen is probably going to come back to bite us, but we've got Foreign Wives who can play our Scatter cheap, which is good. If he bans, that is. Yes, Foreign Wives who just, you know, blocks if he draws. And False Leaders to do a little bit of searching with False Peace. I'm not really even sure what I get at this point. Probably just something to help defend, I guess. He did draw any Lost Souls again, and Throne of David kind of helps him to filter out some Lost Souls, so he gets to look at his top 4, because it's the number of his good kings, which he's got 4 of, and he can take up to 1, top deck, or underdeck the rest. So if there's no Lost Souls in there, he can just leave them on top. If there are Lost Souls in there, he can just send them to the bottom, and then be less likely to draw a Lost Soul next turn. So Throne of David and Threshing Floor are both pretty good for kind of filtering, I guess. There's definitely a good reason that they don't let you do top deck and or under deck, kind of like divination, just because they trigger every turn. So that would just be kind of ridiculous that, you know, you just get to determine your draws, basically. So, but having Matan in there in reserve definitely is coming in clutch here, because otherwise we would have been struggling a little bit with not having Lost Soul to rescue. And that was the thing about Chad's deck, is that most of what he did was searching. Oh, I guess the Mayhem, that was a lot of drawing to not draw a Lost Soul, so that was a little bit lucky on his part, but that's that'll happen. Kind of glad we didn't draw Foreign Wives off of the Mayhem, because that would have felt pretty bad having to discard that. Ooh, it must be some good choices in here. He's not sure what to go with here. Okay, so what do we search for with False Peace? Baneless Prophecy probably would have been a good search. And actually, we can play that from our discard pile now. Once if he gets hand advantage, it might have been worth it to put down Noah, just to get my hand a little bit smaller to make it more likely for False Leaders to be able to play from discard pile. That actually might be better than False Peace right now with Joshua, because, you know, it's potential draw 6. Probably not going to be 6, but there's a lot of good cards in this deck. So, and it's a bunch of evil cards that already got discarded. So, Firefoxes would probably be a good search with False Peace. So if he does do a search ability sometime between now and his attack, then I think that's what we're going to go for. I think that's what we go for. Doesn't have anything, there's nothing currently negating protect abilities or protecting Lost Souls. Nothing that is negating evil characters or has potential to negate evil characters. The other option we had there, if we didn't have Matan in reserve, was to use Flying Scroll to take his Josiah, and we could use the hero side, or the both hero sides, the non-meek side to play a Lost Soul from his deck. But we wouldn't have gotten quite as much value with that because nobody bans to him like they banned to Matan. So yeah, drawing Mary there was pretty good. Worked out pretty well. Okay, so Chad put the 3 cards on the bottom of his deck, which is a little bit surprising if there were that many good cards that he, took him a while to decide. See what he's got cooking here. He had a really fast start, but it's possible that getting off to such a quick start without having, he just had like the one play, and it didn't really get him like that many resources. So we'll have to see, if he can kind of keep the momentum going, because the recovery there was pretty good. So he searches for Noah. So I'll trigger my false leaders here. And we have to basically just find a way to deal with Noah, which might just be Lying Prophet here. Could also do Serpent's Curse. That'd be a good block with the Serpent. Yeah, actually, I think that's what I will do. I mean, it kind of shows exactly what we have here, but if he doesn't have any way to play around it, then it's a really good block because it means that we get to paralyze somebody for 3 turns, at least, if he doesn't draw between now and then. And then we get to win the battle with a CBN battle winner. So he might have Angel of the Lord. That would be or no, yeah, that's what the Serpent's for. Okay, so yeah, it did kind of telegraph our play a little bit, and he plays Second Coming to grab Son of God before going to his rescue, so that puts him at 3. So he knows that the Serpent is coming, but he's probably going to do it anyway, just to basically make me play it, and Noah can shuffle like my Zerubbabel's Temple or something. I wonder what other cloud heroes he has in there. So probably Joshua. Seems like a pretty natural fit. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how similar our decks are. David Hard After God, I think, is I don't know, maybe that's better than David Outcast Refuge. So he's not quite going as much on the banding angle. I wonder if he has Zerubbabel in there too. He's got definitely more. Well, does he have more kings? Or did he just happen to draw all like the same ones that we used? I don't think we've seen a Hezekiah yet, which is actually one that I cut just before the game. Yeah, I don't know. Yep, so he goes with Noah anyway, just to make me use it, which makes sense. He's actually shuffling my woes, which is understandable. I think we'll paralyze someone that he doesn't really want to have to bounce, so I guess probably Asa. I think It's like he kind of wants to bounce Jotham. That's fine. He kind of wants to bounce Josiah. I mean, Asa's a draw, but yeah, that's not. Yeah. Alright, so he's paralyzed. And that means that Chad can't play good dominance while he remains paralyzed, so for 3 turns. So we play Serpent's Curse and do it that way. Lying Prophet might have been a more profitable block where I didn't have to expend resources really, but it also has potential to like be stopped by like Royal Parade or something like that. So yeah, we just make animals ignore heroes, which just makes it mutual protection basically, so it's a stalemate. So we got a blind. We've got a couple star abilities. So we'll look at Chad's hand. See what defense he's got cooking here. Not much. He's got a Zion in here. Interesting. I think that's probably just for like early play, first turn basically. Play it as a site, and he gets a hero from deck or discard pile. I wonder if he's also running like some bounce stuff to basically just bounces his non-royal heroes. That would make sense, I guess. And so we'll use Asa to top deck that, and then draw it with Joshua. So he's got Falling Away, he's got Balaam's Prophecy. I almost wonder if I go for Impartial Judgment now, just to get rid of his Balaam's Prophecy. Might be worth it. We want to do as much drawing as possible because we want to get to one of the big 2 here. Even though we're not going to be able to play it right away. We still want to, because he doesn't have any lost souls, we still want to have them ready for, when we get to his turn. I don't think I'm going to need Noah on his ability side. I think I'm actually just going to activate Josiah's Covenant as an artifact. Oh, right. Okay, so Josiah's Covenant is negated by Akeem. So he's back on now. Kind of forgot about that. That's okay. Which also means Book of the Law is negated. A little unfortunate, but yeah, basically the difference between our decks is his is a little more royalty based, while mine's a little more, or got a little bit more post-exilic in it. And when I say mine, I mean Jeremy's. We can still bounce with Jehoshaphat here, so go Joshua. Actually, you know what, maybe I go grab Captain right now. Did I already play Plumline? No, I did not. Because I think drawing is going to be good because we want to find Covet and we want to find Hopper. Oh, where do we grab Feast of Booths? Both pretty good. I think we grab Feast of Booths, and then we can play pretty much everything. So we go Zerubbabel, and we end up with Matan. Yeah, okay. And we only need 2 Meek heroes, I think. But we can put down Asa as Meek just for kicks and giggles, I guess. So I think I think what Chad should do here, kind of knowing that what's coming, is he should use falling away to convert my Matan before I attack, but it wouldn't really matter because I could just bounce him with Jehoshaphat. It just kind of slows me down a little bit because then I can't grab Zerubbabel. Or I can't bounce Zerubbabel, I guess. So we draw here. We didn't find that, and we'll play. We didn't find any lost souls, but lost souls are negated, so let's go ahead and grab the remnant. Here's the temple. We'll go ahead and grab impartial judgment to hand. So before blacks, we're going to play right on to play Feast of Boots here. We'll go to his discard and banish one. Oh wait, no, never mind. We go to my discard pile. Banish 1, 1, 2, 3. To draw 3. And then we can play Jordan Interrupted from reserve, draw 3 more. And then we can play Impartial Judgment. There it is. Alright, so he already discarded his evil cards. He had Balaam's and Falling Away. Alright, so there's that one. And we've got them both. I don't think there's really any reason to play Son of God now. He might have Vain Philosophy, I guess, but I don't think that's really gonna make a difference here. I mean, I guess just getting my hand down, maybe. He doesn't necessarily know that I've gotten there, so I don't think he's necessarily planning to draw. But we can put Foreign Wives down anyway, I guess. I don't know. I suppose maybe now that Foreign Wives is down, he's definitely not going to draw, but oh well. Alright, found a Lawless. He already played Mayhem. I highly doubt that he's playing Vain Philosophy, especially if he's already playing right on victoriously in Mayhem. So, yeah, I think that there's not a whole lot he can hit here. So, yep, I think that's just going to do it. Oh, I was not expecting that to be a mirror match. But yeah, definitely hurt Chad a bit. that he did that foreign wives block. Not sure what his other block was. Maybe like a Sabbath breaker or something. Or, okay, lying prophet. Yeah. I don't remember what all I had good brigades wise at that point. I know that I had... Oh, I had rid of Jesse in my hand. So I should have actually anticipated that after... I mean, I knew that he had Malachite Slave, and and that he had false leaders, so I really should have anticipated that he had Lying Prophet in his deck, and should have played rid of Jesse before... Or no, I actually discarded it to Prosperity. So, yeah. Chad's deck is really cool. I mean, I really like how he put it together in order to get Impartial Judgment off right away and just get as many meek heroes out as possible. But I think you kind of need to have enough answers out too. I mean, oh, I don't know. I think I might have just kind of gotten lucky with having a way to negate Akeem at the right time, negating Joshua at the right time. So yeah, it was definitely a good game. Definitely some good decks here, and I think that you'll probably be seeing a few more decks like these at the kind of higher levels of play and everything. So definitely be watching out for those. Maybe a little hand protection or something. I don't know. Better watch out. Hold on to your evil cards, or just don't play evil cards, and then you just got to be a little bit faster, like my deck ended up being. You just have to go first. That's the trick right there. So, anyways, thanks a lot, you guys, for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a little bit shorter, but it was a pretty quick game and very offensive heavy, and certainly could have gone the other way if Chad had kind of gotten a few extra blocking options. Although this offense is really strong, so prop to Jeremy on that. Lots of options, certainly. I feel like I was going in every turn with a solid rescue, at least one interrupt with Council of Abigail, or just a strong play or something even David's Descendant could be a battle winner. So the cards like that are pretty flexible. So yeah, definitely a cool build. He was kind of hoping to get a little bit more of the territory destruction thing, but I mean, if you're playing against a balanced build, it might work more, which we're seeing a little bit more of those. But Chad was kind of had the same idea here of just going, full on blitz and see how it worked out. So, anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.